All right, so today we're going to learn about probability and its complement. So basically, probability is the ratio of an event happening and is expressed as a number between 0 and 1. So it's the chances of an event happening, and literally any event. The chances of rain, the chances of rolling a 7 when you have two number cubes or die, things like that. Um, so what we're going to do is we're going to label the terms that are commonly used. So it's like unlikely, equally likely, impossible, certain, and likely. Okay. So when we have when it's the chances are 0 or the probability is 0, basically it's impossible. Okay. Um, when it's between 0 and 1/2, it's unlikely. When it's 1/2, it's equally likely. Uh, when it's between 1/2 and 1, it's going to be likely that the event happens. And when it's 1, the event is certain to happen. It's going to happen. Uh, Also, we usually divide this up into either decimals or percents. So this would be 0%. If it's 1/2, it's 50%, 50% chance of happening. And if it's 1, what's the percentage there? 100%. And then everything in between. Okay. So, 75, 25, etc. Um, so we have 6 situations. So label them with impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain. So go over each one. I'll give you a little bit of time. Check in with your table partner and decide which one would be the best category for each of these. Okay. All right. So for number 1, uh, getting wet if you jump into the pool. Certain, that's going to happen. Number 2, burning your dinner if you cook it too long. That's going to be likely. Um, Water boiling at 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Impossible. Yeah, it needs to be at 100 degrees. Uh, Getting a ticket if you are speeding. That's likely. Um, scoring 2 points on safety in a football game. Unlikely. Yeah, that's doesn't happen as often as people think. That's okay. So say you score a touchdown, and then instead of going for the kick for 1 point, you go for throwing it in again. And yeah, yeah, it doesn't happen as often. Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. Oh, 2 point conversion. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. The safety is the one where you get tackled, but It doesn't happen too often. Uh, a coin landing on heads when it is flipped. Yeah, that's a 50-50. Okay, so let's talk about simple probability and its complement. Okay, so um, simple probability is the ratio of successful events, outcomes, to the uh, total number of outcomes. Okay, total number of outcomes. So the way we usually write this is P for probability, and then in parentheses A. A is the event you want to happen. So it could be, rainy day, or it could be rolling a 3, or whatever, pulling out a green card or a red card, whatever it is that you want. So it's basically going to be the event that the number of ways A can happen over the total outcomes. Total outcomes. Okay. So it's the number of ways something can happen over the number of total ways that things that can happen. Yes. Yeah, like if you want to score a 2 on a six-sided die, it would be 1 over 6. Okay. But if you want to get an even number, it would be 3 out of 6, or 1/2. Okay. Um, let's talk about the complement. The probability of an event not occurring is the complement. Occurs is the complement. The probability of an event and its complement have the sum of 1. So basically, the probability of something happening plus the probability of the event not happening, when you add those up, it's 1. Okay. And the way you do that, the way you write that is P. And if you want the event A, it's A and then an apostrophe. I know it didn't come out too well there. A with an apostrophe. So the way we figure this out is not A happening. So we usually say not A over total outcomes. So like we were just saying, if you have a six-sided dice and you roll and you want the possible ways that it can't happen, like rolling a 3. How many possible ways can you not roll a 3? Well, we got 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. 5 ways out of 6. So there's 5 out of 6 ways. Okay. So the number of ways to roll a 3 is 1 out of 6. The number of ways of not rolling 3 is 5 out of 6. Okay. So here's a couple of examples. There are 4 equally likely outcomes in this spinner, right? So if we want the probability of rolling red, well, there's only 1 red out of 4, so it's 1 out of 4. So it's 1 out of 4, which is 0.25, which is 25%. Okay? Any questions? All right. Well, here's another example. So if we want green, well, find the probability of spinning green or blue. So green or blue. That's 2 possible successful events out of 4 total events or outcomes. So that would be 2 out of 4, which is 1/2. And the probability of not getting red, well, which ones are not red? 1, 2, 3 out of 4 possible outcomes. So it's 3/4, which is 0.75 or 75%. There's a 75% chance of not rolling or of not spinning and getting red. All right. So we're going to practice this a little bit. Let's do the first one together. Okay. So let's read the first one. It says, what is the probability of choosing a marble with stripes? What is the complement of choosing a marble with stripes? Okay, so let's figure out the total number of possible outcomes. How many total marbles do we have? 6. So there's 6 outcomes. And how many have stripes? 2. So that would be 2 out of 6. We could simplify that down to 1/3. 1 in 3 chance of getting one with stripes. So now we want, how many don't have stripes? 4. So it's 4 out of 6. And that could be reduced to 2/3. 2 in 3 chance. You don't get stripes. Okay. So I want you to try the others. So 10 through 14. Give it a try, check in with your neighbor, and then we'll look at them together, okay? Let's go ahead and get back together, guys. So if you're on the video, we changed it up a little bit. For 9 through 12, we just figured out the probability of the first event and the complement of that event. So let's look at number 10. We have the spinner. How many possible outcomes do we have? How many possible things can happen? 7. 7 possible. So it's always going to be out of 7. And how many hearts do we have? 2 out of 7. 2 out of 7. How many are not hearts? 5. So there's 5 that are not. So 5 possible ways of not getting hearts out of 7. Okay. And now we have standard number cube. So we're rolling just a number cube, 1. I know it's kind of confusing because they have 2, but on just one number cube, what are the possible events that I can get? 1 through 6. So there's 6 possible. How many ways can I get a 6? 1 possible way out of 6. How many ways can I not get a 6? 5. 5 possible ways of not getting it out of 6. So there we are. So in the next one, we have a laundry basket contains 24 socks, 6 navy. So navy. Oops, wrote it on the wrong one. What else do we have? 10 black. And then what it says, the remaining were white. So how many are white? 8. Okay. So that's a total of 24 possible. So the ways we can get black socks, if we pull out a black sock, how many possible? 10, right? There's 10 black, so there's 10 successful ways to get black out of 24. And we can reduce that, right? So 5 out of 12. Okay. So how many possible ways of not getting? Well, how many total are not black? 6 and 8. That's 14. 14 out of 24. So that would be 7 out of 12. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the spinner. We have how many possible outcomes on the spinner? 7. 7 possible. How many are not 6? 6, right? If you take out the 6, you have 6 left. It's 6 out of 7. Remember, the number possible is always your denominator. 3 or 4? Yeah. Well, a 3 or a 4. What's the possible ways of rolling a 3 or a 4? How many possible ways? Either you get a 3, that's 1, or you get a 4, that's 2. There's 2 possible ways, right? You either spin to get the 3 or you spin to get the 4. That's 2 out of 7. So that would be 2 out of 7. How about an odd number? How many odd numbers do we have? 4. So that would be 4 out of 7. Okay. The chances there are 4 out of 7. The letters in the word soccer are put into a bag and drawn randomly. You pull them out randomly. What is the probability of choosing? Okay, how many letters are in the word soccer? So 6 possible outcomes. And how many are vowels? 2, right? The O and the E. So that would be 2 out of 6, 1/3. Reduce it down to 1/3. Oh, consonants. How many consonants do we have? 4. S, C, C, and R. So that's 4 out of 6. And that reduces to 2 out of 3. How about C? 2. There's 2 C's out of 6 total possible. That's 1/3 again. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and try a few of these. We'll just do a few. I don't think we have to do all of these. Okay. There is a 90% chance that it will rain. What is the probability that it will rain? Basically, convert 90% into a fraction. 90 over, if it's 90%, it's 90 over 100. And then we can reduce that to 9 in 10 chance. Oh, not rain? Oh, 90% chance that it will rain. Well, let's do that one. Sorry. So if it's 90% chance that it will rain, what percentage is it that it will not rain? So that would be 10 out of 100, which is 1 in 10 chance for not raining. Okay. All right. There is a 25% chance that Sam will win the prize. So let's just do both again. 25% chance, so that would be 25 out of 100. And so if I reduce that, what does it become? 1/4. 25 divides into both of them. 1 in 4 chance. So how about the not part? 3 over 4. Yeah, remember, it has to add up to 1 or 4/4. Okay. Let's see here. One pen is chosen. without looking from a bag that has 3 blue pens, 6 red pens, 3 green pens. How many total pens do we have? 12 pens. So 12 possible. So what's our chances for green? How many green do we have? So it's 3 out of 12. 1/4. 1 in 4 chance. Blue or red? So let's see, how many blue or red do we have? 9 out of, and we can reduce that by 3, right? So that would be 3/4. How about not red? How many are not red? 6 out of 12. 1/2. How about black? 0 out of 12, which is 0. Okay. And they also wanted these as decimals and percents. So 25%, 0.25 and 25%. 3/4, that would be 0.75 and 75%. 1/2, 0.5, 50%, and 0 and 0%. Okay. All right. I want to give you time for work, so we're going to just stop it here. And